Have you ever found yourself standing at a counter or maybe just staring at a screen and you're just mindlessly nodding?
Oh, like all the time, just completely checking out.
Right. You're just clicking, I agree, to
Yeah.
this massive wall of text that you haven't even attempted to read.
Yeah, the classic 40-page terms and conditions trap.
Exactly. Like you're scrolling past all these pages for a new software update on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
or you're standing at a rental car desk and you just really want the keys.
You're tired, you just got off a flight.
You just want the transaction to be over.
Yeah.
You want the coffee or the car, or you just want to open the app.
Yeah.
So what do? You sign.
Because of the social pressure, mostly.
Yes. You enter into a legally binding agreement purely because you do not want to be the person holding up the line.
It's honestly a universal modern experience at this point. We are constantly, entering into these binding relationships without fully translating the terms of engagement.
Yeah, without even trying to understand them.
Because the friction of everyday life essentially demands it. It demands that we remain functionally illiterate when it comes to the fine print, just to get through the day.
Which brings us to exactly what we're doing today for this deep dive. We are looking at a scenario that captures that exact feeling of transactional paralysis.
But from a really fascinating angle.
Right, an angle that strips away all of our native speaker confidence. So our source today is actually a practical language scenario. It's an English learning lesson designed for non-native speakers.
And it's focused entirely on joining a gym.
Yes, the title is The Gym Membership Dialogue, Practical English for Fitness. And it features this guy, a character named Bruce, who is trying to navigate signing up for a fitness membership.
And this is crucial, we aren't just doing a vocabulary review here.
No, definitely not. We are going to use Bruce's struggle as a lens to look at, like the dark arts of subscription economics.
The psychology of consumer friction.
And really why the language of quitting is intentionally designed to be the absolute hardest language to learn.
It's such a brilliant framing for a lesson, because when you look at how we teach people to navigate commercial spaces in a brand new language, you suddenly see the architecture of those spaces with perfect clarity.
You see the matrix, basically.
Exactly. You see where the guardrails are, and honestly, more importantly, you see exactly where the traps are laid out.
Okay, let's unpack this. The scenario with Bruce, it starts off with three main areas of focus before he even gets to the really tricky part.
The standard opening dance of gym memberships.
Right. The lesson highlights membership plans, class schedules, and trial periods. And if you've ever joined a gym, you know this routine.
Oh, absolutely. It's totally universal.
But I really want to know why these three specific things are the foundation of this interaction. Why start here?
Well, they form the foundation because they represent the three core currencies you have to negotiate in adult life: money, time, and risk mitigation.
Oh, wow. Money, time, and risk.
Yeah. So when a language course isolates these specific domains, it's not just teaching words, it's giving you a map of commercial negotiation.
A survival guide, almost.
Pretty much. Let's start with the membership plans. That's the currency of capital, right? It's not just asking, how much is this?
It's more about the commitment.
Exactly. It's on what recurring schedule will you be deducting this from my bank account?
Right. But gyms are, they're kind of unique in that way, aren't they?
How do you...
Well, a gym membership isn't like subscribing to a magazine where you just get a physical thing in the mail every month.
No, not at all.
The entire business model of a gym relies heavily on the ghost member.
The people who never show up.
Yes. They actually need a massive percentage of their paying members to never, ever walk through the front door.
That is the defining economic mechanism of the commercial fitness industry right there. I mean, think about it. If every single person who held a membership at a major big box gym showed up on a Tuesday evening at 6:00 p.m.
The fire marshal would literally shut the building down.
100%. They operate on an attrition model. They're selling you the aspirational version of yourself.
The version of me that wakes up at 5 a.m. to run on a treadmill.
Right. The version of you that doesn't actually exist. You are paying for the idea that you are going to go.
So the language they use.
Yeah, the language around membership plans like annual commitments, monthly dues, initiation fees. It's all designed to lock in that aspirational version of you financially.
Before the reality of your actual lazy habit sets in.
Exactly. Before you realize you're just going to sit on the couch.
Which perfectly explains why the second currency you mentioned, the class schedules, is brought up next in Bruce's lesson.
Right, because you have to figure out when you're actually going to do this.
Yeah, you're at the counter asking about the spin classes, the yoga hours, the Zumba. You are trying to map this brand new financial commitment onto the harsh reality of your time.
And time is completely finite. When you ask about the class schedule, you are actively negotiating with your future self.
Can I really make a 6 a.m. spin class on a Wednesday?
Exactly. You're trying to figure out if you actually have the bandwidth to utilize the capital you are about to spend.
Right, you're doing the mental math.
And this is exactly where the third currency comes into play. The trial period. This is the ultimate tool for risk mitigation.
The trial period. I was thinking about the psychology of this while reading the source, and it really just feels like dating to me.
Dating? How so?
Well, a trial period is like a coffee date. It is deliberately low stakes.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
You meet up for 30 minutes, you grab a latte, and if the vibes are just entirely off, you can politely leave. You haven't ruined your life.
You're not legally bound to them.
Right. You ask for a trial period because you want to know if you can escape gracefully. But the membership plan,
That's a different story.
that's moving in together. That's signing a lease, combining the bank accounts, and making actual promises about the next 12 months of your life.
That is a brilliant analogy. And what's fascinating here is how the trial period functions psychologically, not just for dating, but for actual consumer behaviors.
There's a psychological term for this.
Oh, yeah. There is a concept in behavioral economics called the endowment effect.
The endowment effect. Okay, what is that?
It dictates that people ascribe much more value to things merely because they own them.
Just because they possess it.
Yes. And even a temporary sense of ownership, like, say, holding a guest pass to a gym for 3 days. It triggers this effect.
No way. So just having the pass makes me value the gym more.
Absolutely. The gym wants you to experience the trial period because the moment you use that locker room, the moment you walk on that treadmill, your brain subconsciously starts to categorize the gym as yours.
That is wild. I always assumed a trial period was a consumer protection mechanism, like a favor to me so I don't get ripped off.
I mean, it serves both functions, sure, but from the institution's perspective, it is absolutely a conversion tool.
So they're reeling you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The friction to sign up after a 3-day trial is significantly lower than signing up cold off the street.
Because you already feel like you belong there.
Exactly. So for someone like Bruce, in our scenario, learning how to ask, is there a trial period, is a really great way of building conversational confidence.
It's a safe question.
It is. It's a socially acceptable way to express skepticism in a new language. But the institution welcomes that skepticism because they know the statistics.
You know they're going to win.
Right. They know that once you are physically in the building, the conversion rate absolutely skyrockets.
That makes total sense. So you start with the excitement of the schedule, imagining this new, highly motivated version of yourself crushing a morning workout.
The aspirational self.
Yeah, and then you dip your toe in with the coffee date trial period.
Yeah.
But eventually, the honeymoon phase of the conversation ends. You have to lock it in.
You have to sign the papers.
And to lock it in, you inevitably brush up against the central conflict of Bruce's whole scenario, the cancellation policy.
And this is where the entire atmosphere of the interaction completely pivots.
It's a total mood shift.
It really is. Up until this point, the language has been fundamentally positive, right? It's literally marketing copy.
Yeah, lots of buzzwords.
Words like goals, results, flexibility, endurance, community, it's all designed to make you feel capable and excited.
And then the cancellation policy drops onto the counter. And it's like someone turned off the party music and turned on the harsh fluorescent lights.
Precisely. The linguistic shift is incredibly jarring. You transition immediately from this aspirational vocabulary to restrictive, punitive, and highly conditional legalese.
It gets very serious very quickly.
You start seeing words like herein, stipulates, termination, liability.
Forfeit. That's a scary one.
Oh, yeah. You go from look at what you can achieve to here is exactly how we will penalize you if you try to leave us.
It sounds like a threat.
Because it kind of is. And for someone like Bruce, who is navigating a second language, or frankly, even for a native speaker, that cognitive load is staggering.
Okay, but hang on. Let me push back on this just a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
I don't buy that this shift in language is always a malicious, intentional trap set by the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't this kind of dense terminology just legally necessary?
How do you mean?
Like, businesses have to protect themselves from liability and revenue loss. They can't just write a legally binding contract that says leave whenever you feel like it, bro.
Well, no, of course not.
Right, legalese evolved for a reason, right? It's meant to be precise.
You are absolutely correct that legalese serves a necessary protective function for the business. Contract law relies on highly specific, historically tested terminology to avoid loopholes.
So it's not a conspiracy.
No, not entirely. However, there is a very distinct difference between necessary legal protection and what user experience designers call dark patterns.
Dark patterns, or what you called earlier, frictional UX.
Yes, frictional UX.
Hmm.
The opacity of a cancellation policy often goes far beyond what is strictly legally required, and it ventures into intentional obfuscation.
Obfuscation. So making it confusing on purpose?
Yes, exactly. When an educational scenario like the one with Bruce highlights him hitting a wall with the cancellation policy, it is acknowledging a very real structural reality of commerce.
Which is what?
That institutional fine print is frequently engineered to be completely frictionless when you are onboarding and highly frictional when you are trying to exit.
Oh, that is so true. Think about the physical act of joining a gym today.
It's incredibly easy.
You can usually do it on your phone in like 3 clicks, double tap the side button, use Apple Pay, boom, you're a member. But canceling.
Canceling's a completely different story.
Canceling is an absolute nightmare. I remember trying to cancel a gym membership once, and the hoops they made me jump through were almost comical.
What did they make you do?
Well, I couldn't do it online. There was no button for it. I couldn't do it over the phone either.
Of course not.
I had to physically go into the home location between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on a weekday.
When you were working?
Exactly. Just to speak to a specific retention manager who was conveniently always on their lunch break when I showed up.
That is infuriating, but it is exactly what we mean by frictional UX applied to physical space.
It's a dark pattern in the real world.
Yes. The difficulty isn't just in the vocabulary on the paper. It's in the actual bureaucracy that the vocabulary describes.
What about the real-world barriers?
So when Bruce says he doesn't understand the cancellation policy, he isn't just struggling to translate a complicated word. He is staring down an entire system that has been optimized to keep him paying.
Wow. Let's picture Bruce at that counter for a second.
No, I visualize it.
He's got his water bottle. He's in his workout gear. He's ready to go. And his heart is probably pounding a little bit because speaking a new language in public is terrifying.
It's incredibly stressful.
And then the person behind the desk, smiling, slides over this laminated sheet of terms and conditions. The contrast between the physical reality of just wanting to lift some weights and the cold reality of bureaucratic paperwork. It's such a sharp friction point.
It really creates a profound sense of vulnerability.
I can imagine.
And the psychological response to that vulnerability is almost usually compliance.
Just giving in.
Yeah. When you are standing at a counter and there is a line of people tapping their feet behind you, your working memory is already maxed out just trying to process the social interaction.
Especially in a second language.
Exactly. So if you don't understand the paperwork, the overwhelming pressure is to simply smile, nod, and sign.
Because you don't want to look stupid.
Right. The fear of looking foolish or the simple desire to just end the awkwardness of the situation completely overrides your natural instinct for self-protection.
You just want it to be over.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me, though.
What's that?
By making the cancellation policy the focal point of this specific learning scenario, the creators of the lesson are essentially teaching self-advocacy as a survival skill.
Yes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, teaching someone how to ask about a cancellation policy is teaching them how to halt the momentum of a sale.
And that is an incredibly difficult thing to do.
It is so hard. The entire physical and social environment is designed for forward motion.
To keep the line moving.
The employee has a script, and that script is designed to get your signature as quickly as possible. To look that person in the eye, pump the brakes, and say, I do not understand these terms, explain them to me, requires immense social courage.
It really does. I don't even like doing it in my native language.
Nobody does.
So what does this all mean in practice for you, the listener? Let's deconstruct the actual hurdles hidden inside that phrase, cancellation policy.
Let's break it down.
What are the specific mechanisms in these contracts that trap people, whether they are a language learner like Bruce or, a native speaker who just didn't read the fine print?
Okay, so there are usually 3 distinct mechanisms working together in these policies. The first one is the notice period.
A notice period.
Yeah, you'll frequently see language like 30 days written notice required prior to the next billing cycle.
Which, honestly, sounds pretty reasonable on the surface.
Yeah.
Just give us a heads up before you leave.
It sounds totally reasonable, but functionally, it often acts as a temporal trap.
A trap. How does that work?
Okay, let's walk through it. Say your billing date is the 1st of every month,
Okay, the first?
and you decide you want to cancel on the 2nd of the month. A 30-day notice requirement means you are legally obligated to pay for the entirety of the next month as well.
Wait, really?
Yes, because your 30 days of notice will overlap into the new billing cycle.
Oh my gosh. Because I missed it by one day.
Exactly. It is a phantom month of revenue for the gym. They get an entire extra month of dues out of you just because of how the calendar fell.
Ah, that's the rolling billing trap. You think you've cleanly severed the tie, you've made the decision, you've submitted the form, but they pull you back in for one last deduction.
It happens all the time.
It's infuriating because it feels like a penalty for just existing in time. Like, I made the decision on the 2nd, why am I paying for next month?
Because that's what the contract stipulates.
Insane. Okay, so what's the second mechanism?
Hidden fees, specifically structured around the exit.
Ah, yes, the fees.
You'll see phrases in the paperwork like early termination penalty, account closure processing fee, or prorated dues.
Like a word salad of charges.
It is. And these are linguistic maneuvers that obscure a very simple, very painful reality.
Which is,
It is going to cost you money to stop paying them money.
that is the most backwards thing I've ever heard. Paying money to stop paying money.
They frame it as administrative overhead, right? Like, oh, it takes resources to close your account, but it is almost always just a deterrent.
A deterrent to keep you as one of those ghost members we talked about earlier.
Precisely. Let's do the math on human behavior.
Okay.
If the penalty to cancel your membership today is $50, but your recurring monthly fee is only $20,
Oh, I see where this is going.
human nature stepped in and says, well, I'll just keep the membership for now. It's only $20. Maybe I'll actually go next week, rather than pay the $50 ransom to leave.
You literally ransom yourself. You convince yourself that the cheaper option is to just stay trapped in the cycle.
It perfectly weaponizes our natural aversion to immediate loss. We'd rather bleed slowly than take the big hit up front.
That is so deeply manipulative.
It is incredibly effective. And then there's the third mechanism, which is perhaps the most confounding of all, and it goes right back to your own anecdote from earlier.
My lunch break retention manager.
Exactly. The required forms of communication.
Oh, the certified mail trick.
Yes. The policy won't just say you have to cancel. It will dictate exactly how the cancellation must be executed.
Down to the letter.
It will explicitly state that verbal cancellations are entirely void. You can't just tell the person at the desk.
Which is crazy because I signed up with the person at the desk.
I know, but to leave, it might require you to send a formal letter by certified mail to a corporate P.O. box 3 states away.
Who even sends certified mail anymore? I don't even know my post office.
That's the point. It shifts the entire burden of proof and the burden of execution entirely onto you, the consumer.
They make it a part-time job just to quit.
And here's the kicker. If you miss one single detail,
Like what?
like if you send an email instead of a physical letter, or if you hand a handwritten note to the wrong front desk employee, or if you don't get a receipt of the transaction,
Then that happens.
the cancellation is legally deemed invalid, and the monthly billing just continues.
It's an absolute maze.
A maze designed to keep you lost.
And poor Bruce. Bruce is standing at the entrance of this maze, realizing he doesn't even have a map, let alone the right vocabulary to ask for directions.
He is incredibly vulnerable.
It really makes you realize that the ability to decode the word no or cancel or terminate is arguably the most vital consumer skill you can possibly have.
Without a doubt.
Because saying yes is the easiest thing in the world.
They want you to say yes.
The entire infrastructure of modern commerce is built to lubricate your yes. But trying to say stop requires absolute precision.
That is a fundamental truth of transactional communication in the modern world. The system is designed from the ground up to remove all friction from agreement.
Right, the one-click purchasing.
Contactless payments, auto-renewal, Face ID checkout. It's seamless.
Too seamless sometimes.
But the act of dissenting, the act of retreating or changing your mind, that is exactly where the friction is deliberately reintroduced into the system.
They build the wall back up.
So when someone like Bruce is struggling to understand a cancellation policy, they aren't just struggling with English vocabulary.
What are they struggling with?
They're struggling against an entire economic system that relies entirely on their passivity. It relies on them giving up and just paying the $20 a month forever.
Man, I have to admit, looking at this seemingly simple gym scenario through this lens completely changes how I view everyday transactions.
It changes everything once you see it.
We started out just talking about Bruce trying to figure out when the spin classes were and, how much the monthly fee was going to be.
The basic logistics.
Right. We looked at the currencies of time and money and how those trial periods act as a psychological bridge to get you comfortable.
The endowment effect in action.
And we saw how that comfortable bridge leads directly into the complex, high-stakes, confusing territory of the cancellation policy.
The trap at the end of the bridge.
Exactly. We unpacked the very real mechanisms, the rolling notice periods, the exit fees, the insane bureaucratic hurdles like certified mail that make stopping a transaction so much harder than starting one.
It's an obstacle course.
Which brings us to the real takeaway here. The skills required to navigate that gym counter aren't just about fitness memberships.
Not at all.
They are completely universal. Whether you are signing a lease on a new apartment, agreeing to a 2-year cell phone contract, or even navigating the terms of a new job offer, the ability to recognize this frictional language is huge.
You have to be able to spot it.
And you have to be able to advocate for your right to understand it. That is paramount.
It is the ultimate defense against the momentum of the sale.
That's a great way to put it.
It is the ability to look at a massive, complex system designed entirely for your compliance and have the courage to say, hold on, explain the exit to me.
I love that. Explain the exit.
It's the most important question you can ask.
It really is. So here's a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to carry with you today.
Something to mull over.
Think about all the digital subscriptions, the apps, the software updates, and the recurring services that are currently quietly running in the background of your life right now.
The ones auto-renewing every month.
Yeah. How many of those terms of service did you actually read when you clicked accept?
Probably 0.
And how many of their cancellation policies could you confidently explain right now if I asked you?
I bet it's not many.
Are we all, in a way, just Bruce, standing at the gym counter, nodding along to a language we haven't fully translated yet, just hoping we don't get trapped?
It's a scary thought.
It really is. Something to think about next time you click.
I agree.